Hey HGC, welcome to Daily Devos once again. I'm Pastor Mike, and today we're looking at Philippians 3:17 to 19. Here's what it says. Join together in following my example, brothers and sisters, and just as you have us as a model, keep your eyes on those who live as we do. For as I've often told you before, and now tell you again, even with tears, many live as enemies of the cross of Christ. Their destiny is destruction, their God is their stomach, their glory is their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things. Today's text is a public service announcement to the people of God. You see, in the same way that distracted driving has potentially devastating consequences for you and others, a distracted Christian poses a spiritual threat to themselves and to their oikos. Some Christians are so distracted by earthly things that Paul goes so far as to call them in this passage enemies of the cross of Christ. Man, that's harsh. And if you've ever been driving around someone whose attention was more on their cell phone than it was on the road, you probably felt the same way about them, that they are enemies. They're not your friend on the road. They're putting their life at risk and yours. So check this out. People who call themselves Christians but are obsessed with this world, totally distracted by it, are a spiritual danger, not just to themselves, but to the people God has put right on the front row of their life. And Paul is not alone in giving a stern warning about this. Listen to what James says in James 4:4. He says, "You adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity against God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God." Or what about the Apostle John? He warned in 1 John 2:15 and 16, "Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, doesn't come from the Father, but from the world." Here's the thing, life is full of distraction, but living a distracted life is spiritually dangerous. So what do? Our text suggests three things. First, be aware of what's a distraction to you. What often draws your attention away from Christ, away from what's good or right or eternal or true? We need to know what those things are so that when they're near, we can be ready to combat the distraction that they present. So be aware of what's a distraction to you. Second, find and follow godly examples of others in the areas that you're likely to get distracted in. Do you have anyone in your life who's maybe had victory in an area where you've experienced defeat? Learn from them. If you don't have godly examples in your life, ask God to provide them and seek them out. But don't be content to battle earthly distraction alone. The third thing I think we ought to do is aspire to be a godly example to those who are following us. Your oikos is watching. So as you pray for them daily, ask that God would give you the grace and strength to live for Christ in a way that points them, your oikos, to Jesus. Well, may God give us grace to live distraction-free in this world and to both have and become the kind of examples that are so necessary for people to follow Christ in their lives. See you next time.